And welcome to Cypress College softball on SportsNetUSA.net. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here on the campus of Cypress College, and we're ready for some softball as they take on the El Camino Warriors in this out-of-conference tilt. It's a trifecta today. College of the Canyons were here as well. They lost both times, 5-1 to Cypress and 10-2 to El Camino in a run rule game. Corey Neyland, Mark Pavlovich, Noah Alvarez, along with Ed Ford, here to bring you the action. Mark, should be fun.
Yeah, Corey, I mean, when you look at this could be a preview when we start heading into the playoffs. So we've all talked that El Camino should be there. We know that Cypress College should be there. Of course, the in-between game, College of the Canyons. We talked about them being there, but we looked at them against Cypress. They had 5 unmistakable errors in that Cypress game to start off today's action. Cypress, once again, played solid in the circle, timely hitting. And, of course, then you look at them defensively. Yeah, we talked about them being at 977 defensively. I think they should be a little higher than that. But I tell you what, Brad Pickler's picking them up. You talked about them losing 2, Corey, before we came here. I'm going to quote Brad Pickler. The girls started reading their press clippings and thought they were as good as the paper said they were. You know, Mark, you know, Ed, because we were out here early, I think sometimes it's good that you lose because then you find out you're not invincible. And all of a sudden, Brad Pickler has started the season run for a championship. They won the last time, Corey, 2017. I don't know, maybe the team isn't as good as 2017, but I'm not sure I'd want to wager against them once we get into the playoff mode.
No. They're 31-4 after their win earlier today, and El Camino is now 27-9 after their win against College of the Canyons. Diamond Lewis will start the ball game off for El Camino. In the circle for Cypress will be Janaea Brannon, and this is going to be a massive tilt. These teams love to get up and down. Well, El Camino loves to get up and down and around those bases. Cypress, well, they get up and down, they get around the bases, they plug along, they do what it takes. First pitch, Diamond Lewis and El Camino in their all grays. First pitch, strike outside corner by Brannon. Lewis is one of the best players in the state. Last year, All-American. She fouls this one high off and back. She was also a SCC Player of the Year.
You gotta like a leadoff hitter who's got a slugging percentage of 786.
And has 32 stolen bases.
Yeah, I mean, she can move. We saw it in the previous game. She made it from first to third on an easy double.
And she chases one beautiful pitch by Brandon outside. She gets the first K. I bring up Jocelyn Hernandez. Then after Hernandez, and Hernandez is in the circle, Kylie Perriman batting third. Alana Della Torre is fourth. Pitch on the way, foul back. Mina Nakawaki is batting fifth. And at playing center field, Brooklyn Araujo, second baseman, batting sixth. Belle Estrada, the designated player, at seventh. Marissa Garza, eighth and catching. And Cassie Robinson, the left fielder, is batting ninth. 0-1 pitch. Again, fouled off to the right side.
We saw Janae Brannon come in the first game, and she was basically the stopgap out there, Noah. We saw it in that first game. She showed up every once in a while. Now we'll see what she can do in 7 full innings.
Hop up. Underneath it is Borges, and she makes the catch.
And going back to what you touched on, Mark, we talked about it in the first game, the Chargers' first game. She has a strikeout to walk out. She has a strikeout to walk ratio near almost 3.5 to 1. So she doesn't really get cute. We've seen it here. Six pitches, all in the strike zone. She has 2 outs already this far. She doesn't like to play around. Really pounds the strike zone with her hard stuff.
Kylie Perriman now at bat. Perriman on the season, 292. Takes that pitch, let her high for a strike. They just beat College of the Canyons 10-2. Yesterday they beat OCC 8-2 on 14 hits, had an error. That pitch misses inside.
You got to look for somebody right now, especially at this game. You're going to watch, and it's going to be interesting to watch how many different pitches Brandon's got while she's out there in the circle.
That's inside and low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Her battery mate is Gabby Zapata. At first base, Gabby Munoz. Second base is Infinity Laufo. At third is Amanda Campos. Shortstop is Leslie Borges. Left field is Vanessa Ayala, Kim McPherson in center, and rounding it out is Eliza Sandoval in right field.
Wind picking up here, actually blowing in from the ocean, so it's a cross breeze.
Ground ball to Borges. Picks it up, plenty of time to get her at first base. Munoz with the catch, so 3 up, 3 down. Solid first inning for the Chargers, no score, as they're due up in their bottom half with Campos, Laufo, and Brannon.
See, Brad Pickler gets a lot of schools from a variety of different areas. You look at it, you go down his lineup, you see Downey, Huntington Beach, Whittier, Garden Grove, La Habra, La Mirada, Norwalk, Whittier, Placentia, Rancho Cucamonga, a couple players from that area, Santa Ana, Brea, Villa Park area, and then Los Alamitos. So, I mean, Brad's got no territory that goes untouched when he recruits out here for this Cypress team.
I was going to say, I think it helps, too, that he has such a recognizable program. I think if you're a softball player and you just missed a D1 scholarship, you want to go somewhere competitive, somewhere that can put you on the map. I think Cypress is a great landing spot for those type of players.
In the circle for El Camino is Jocelyn Hernandez. He's 12-1 this season with 2 saves, 47 strikeouts, and 8 walks, with the 1.47 earned run average.
Ooh, under 2.
Marissa Garza is catching Kylie Perryman at first, Brooklyn Araujo at second. Third and short is Diamond Lewis and Alana De La Torre, respectively. Left to right in the outfield, Cassidy Robinson, Mina Nakawaki, and Cedra Montoya.
You know, Noah, a lot of those ERAs would be under 2 if these SIDs know how to actually score a game. They score like Corey Neyland. Everybody gets a base hit. Everybody gets a blue ribbon. Everybody gets a gold star.
Except you. As Amanda Campos steps in, followed by Laufo, Brannon, Leslie Borges batting 4th, Kim McPherson 5th, Gabby Munoz 6th. First pitch strike. 7, 8, 9 are Ayala, Bogdanovich, and Sandoval. Campos 3-13 coming in today's action. Swing and miss. 536 slugging percentage, went 2 for 3 in the first game. 2 RBI and a double and a triple.
Hernandez out of Downey, Warren High School.
Takes the 0-2 pitch high. League MVP.
And Corey, you watch her in the circle, one of the few pitchers in the circle that still rocks bringing it home.
You think
has
so?
a rocking motion coming home plate.
I think a lot of pitchers rock now.
Do you really?
I still do.
I don't think they rock as much as they used to. I think they take that long stride, try to open up the hips to get as much torque as they can on the ball.
You know, during my time at Sacramento State, I saw a lot of pitchers in the Big Sky use the rocking motion. So I agree with Corey. I don't think it's a lost art.
Up the middle, nice play by De La Torre, just swooping in from short and gunning out Campos.
The big what?
The Big Sky Conference.
You know, Sac State, Boise State, other states. Montana. Infinity Laufo 1 for 4 with an RBI earlier today. Beautiful country right here, Big Sky. Off-speed pitch. is high from Hernandez.
Time called by Brad Pickler.
Speaking of Brad Pickler, a lot of wins in his career. Ed Ford calls him, well,
The
Ed is
winniness.
one of the best
I
who did
think
college.
he's number 2,
There
but
you
I
go.
think if Ed were to really sit down and talk about the man who's number 1, I think he probably schedules games against maybe a couple of the teams that showed up here just to watch this game today to get his wins.
Not true, Mark. 9-time state champ. 3 consecutive championships, done that twice. Over 1,300 wins and 23 Orange Empire Conference titles.
No, I'm not talking about Brad Pickler. I'm talking about the man who's number 1.
This one is lifted into center field right at Nakawaki. That's just a long, pretty out.
I'm talking about Brad Pickler's competition, man. Brad pays nothing but quality teams.
Number 21, Janaea Brannon.
Janaea Brannon 0 for 3 in the ball game. Timeout call. And the music was playing, and now the music is off. Walk-up music went a little bit too long, didn't it?
Did he just give the people back here the Corey Neyland stare?
He did.
2 outs, bottom of the first, between 2 top 16 teams and there's a line drive base hit in the center left field. And this is probably the key matchup going on today, because both these teams are in a strong 16. And that's the strong 16 by SportsNetUSA.net. Cypress number 4, El Camino at 10. Leslie Borges 0 for 3 in a run earlier. She reached base all 3 times, but all 3 times on an error earlier today. Two outs, 220 straight away, 209 down right and 207 down left. Right-hander takes the pitch, and nice strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Borges 440 this year in the cleanup spot. No home runs, 13 RBI. Off-speed pitch waited on and delivered into left field. Guys, I heard you two talking earlier about being patient at the plate, and being patient on that pitch was Borges. And she wasn't fooled, kept her back foot back and still strided through for a single.
Yeah, a lot of these hitters for the Chargers, they stay within themselves. They don't try to do too much. You mentioned that she doesn't have home runs. As a team, they only have 7, so they're not going to beat you with using the long ball. They're going to be very patient, be very difficult outs at the plate.
Bunt showing, and that's in there to McPherson. Four-year varsity starter at Ocean View High School.
She also got the Coach's Recipient Award when she was at Ocean View. She's a criminal justice major.
Wants to be an SVU detective. And she showed bunt with two outs. Runners at first and second. 2 strikes now, no balls. Outside, 1 and 2.
And I like the idea of going bunt. Looked like she was trying to push it to first. First baseman is way back there, almost touching the grass. So if she can get a good one down, she might be able to beat it out.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No score here in the bottom of the first. And this one is belted again in the left field, and there's Cassie Robinson cruising over to make the catch. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on. At the end of 1 full inning, no score here. You're watching Cypress College softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
Corey Neyland was gone earlier today, and he came back, and you could hear him pull into the parking lot. There was a little rattle to the car and everything else. And, you know, Corey really loved his wife. Come around this spring break, he'd go over to Miller Toyota of Anaheim and say, hey, what's the best deal you could give me on that new Toyota? We're going to be taking a trip during the summer, and my wife needs to be riding in comfort. So let me know. And they would give him the best deal you could find on a Toyota in Southern California. That's right. Miller Toyota of Anaheim has the best variety, the best people, the best deals you'll find of any Toyota dealership in the area. So next time you're out there looking for a new or a used car, where should you go? Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Located at Euclid in the 91, Miller Toyota of Anaheim is a proud sponsor of community college sports, high school sports, but most of all, education. That's Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Hey, Corey, do you know how many times Brad Pickler's had his team in the state playoffs?
Now batting for the Warriors, number 14.
23.
Close, 27. 27 appearances in the state playoffs for Brad Pickler.
De La Torre takes that for a low ball. De La Torre, favorite player, Sidney Romero. Takes that in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, top of the second. No score between El Camino and Cypress. Looks like that one slipped out of Brandon's hands. 2 balls and 1 strike. De La Torre out of Downey High School. Lays down a beautiful bunt. In comes Torres, and that is nice. Campos comes in at third, and there was no way they were going to get Alana De La Torre, and that's a bunt single, starting it off.
Once again, the lost art of bunting has been demonstrated here today by all the teams that have played.
Yeah, and De La Torre needed that. She came in batting .270 into today, and so she gets on base. That just setting the table for a strike. Milwaukee coming in today, .384. Nina out of North Torrance High School. Fouled straight back. I think those are the Saxons, right, Mark?
Yeah, she played for Coach Howard Miller. She earned second team honors in league over there as a junior. She's also one of those student athletes, Corey. She's been in the honor roll when she was in high school, and she's carried that over to the community college level.
Good pitch by Brannon. Had Nakawaki thinking she wanted to chase. 1-2. Infield. Straight away. Right field, deep in the right field, but under it. No, dropped, by Sandoval. And De La Torre advances to third on the 2-base error by Eliza Sandoval. Well hit. I think Sandoval thought it wasn't going to carry as much as it did, and it hit her glove. Good recovery speed, but just couldn't haul it in. So with nobody out and runners at second and third, El Camino's threatening.
And we saw in the first 2 games, the errors by College of the Canyons really hurt their chances, especially late in the games when they were trying to put something together. They just had too far of a deficit. So we'll see if the Chargers can bounce back from this error here and lock things down. They have all 3 outs to get, so it's going to be a tough road ahead of them the rest of this inning.
So 1 hit thus far, 1 error. Runners at second and third to bring up Brooklyn Araujo. She fouls 1 straight back.
You look at her when she's played in tournaments. She's been, Corey, an MVP on more than 1 occasion. You look at the La Mirada tournament, she was the MVP.
Here's a player with international experience as well on the Mexican national team. 0-1 pitch is outside for a ball. So that's something that you play for the Mexican national team, and that's something that you'll look forward to, because that's, if they qualify for the Olympics, it could be the Pan American Games, get you more experience that way. 1-1 pitch is in there, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I like her first name, though. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
It was Brooklyn? Well, my thing's got it spelt a little different. Mine's got it Brookly in her bio.
No,
So if it's
2-2.
spelt that way in her bio, that's not Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn.
You
Spelled
sure?
Brooklyn on the roster.
You know, because Brooklyn's where it's at, Mark.
Ouch.
2-2.
Pshaw.
Fouled away.
You and Noah just think because they won a basketball game today, they're the thing.
No, I was thinking of the most deaf lyric. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners at second and third.
Well, you know what? I'm changing her name to Brooklyn. You know me, I feel like I can do anything.
And you look at Brandon in the circle. There it is. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Carter looking. So that's the first out. Big pitch by Janaea Brandon. Contrast is different from last year's pitching for Cypress and this year's pitching for Cypress. Here's Brad Pickler calling a timeout. Last year they didn't have that fire breathing pitcher out there in the circle. This year Brandon looks to be it.
Well, out of the 2 starters, she is the one when you look at her in there. And so far, Corey, though, I really haven't seen a variety of pitches from her. She'll throw a rise ball. She throws that fastball. She has really good placement, though, Noah, on that fastball. She's working the zone up, down, right, and left, which you need to do as somebody in the circle.
And just on that last strikeout, she worked on the inside part of the plate. That's something we didn't see Sandoval do too much in the first game when they took on College of the Canyons. So she's able to work both sides up and down, and she's really a versatile pitcher.
And the reason why you can work that inside part of the plate is because you can throw that heat. So last championship was 2017 for Cypress, and that year they went 48-0. They were the only community college team in history to do that. Well, California at least. So this will bring up Belle Estrada, who last year was primarily used as a pinch runner, defensive specialist. And this year, actually doing all right, batting .313. That was coming into today. Wind dying down just a little. Strike 2 on the inside part, 1-1.
And so I'm going to go back to what Noah said when he talked about the big sky, saw everybody rocking. But you've got a pitcher in the circle now that doesn't have that rocking motion. It's a step back and then a glide through in the circle. Step back, step forward, glide through. Compared to the rocking motion that we see when the opponent gets in the circle.
That's why you like the disparity. You like that difference. You like to see uniqueness. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 1 out, no score. Off-speed pitch, got her chasing. And guys, it was an off-speed pitch out of the zone. It was a nice, now normally those rise pitches are coming straight heat, but that was a rise pitch that was off-speed and out of the zone. Very well and very effective pitch by Brandon. Marissa Garza now steps to the plate. I think that pitch fooled the umpire. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs, no score. Runners at second and third. At third, waiting is De La Torre. At second is Nakawaki. And that's inside, 2-0.
And Corey, I can't really say to myself, is she fast or is she just quick? Which I think there's a difference in softball.
This one's belted way foul and way long. I think she's quick.
You think she's quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the delivery, because she's not rocking back and forth, because it's a snap throw just gliding through, I think it's more quick. And Brad Pickler goes out with his trademark glove that he wears during the game.
I think Brad just said, whatever we call, let's not call that again.
Marissa Garza kind of turned on that. Freshman catcher. Got 21 RBI, 24 RBIs this season. 316 average. Got 2 home runs. So 2-1 delivery. Step through, and that's lined up the middle. That's scoring 1. Coming up throwing is McPherson. That's scoring 2. And El Camino takes the early lead in the top of the second, 2-0. So there's 2 outs and a costly error by Sandoval in right earlier, as you have 2 outs and a runner at first.
Now batting number 20, Cassie Robinson.
So that goes down as 1 earned and 1 unearned run. Cassie Robinson swings through a pitch, 0-1. Cassie Robinson, and here's the thing, and you know, possibly your 2 best hitter, Cassie Robinson, is up now. That's 9th. She grounds one up the middle over his Borquez and steps on second to end the inning. So 6 unassisted on the scoring, but not before. There's 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error and 1 left on base at the end of 1.5. Warriors 2, Chargers nothing. This is SportsNetUSA.net. Coming up is Gabby Munoz, Vanessa Ayala, and Madison Bogdanovich.
You know, you look at what's going on out here, too, and this, I know everybody sort of looks at these games, but it's at that stage of the season now, Corey, that if you were to beat Cypress, you're going to move up the food chain if you're the Warriors, and the Chargers may just drop another step. Now, we already know in Ed's poll that we have here at SportsNetUSA.net that they Chargers are slowly going down just a little. But I think for El Camino, if they could win this game today, it'd be a large feather in their hat with the playoffs right around the corner. You want to know you can beat your competition in the playoffs.
Yeah, this win will be huge for El Camino if they can beat Cypress, because Cypress is, there's 2 teams you have to get through in the South, Cypress and Mount Sac. Those are the teams. Palomar is good, but I don't think they instill that type of fear as Mount Sac and Cypress. So if El Camino could get this done, I think that might propel them a long way, because they're 10 right now in the rankings. Cypress has not been out of the top 4 this season in the rankings, a strong 16. So they've been in the top 4 all season long, along with San Mateo, Mount Sac, and actually that's about it.
And you know, once again, we had talked about it in the first game about the .977 fielding percentage from Cypress, and Noah, we expect better because that's what we've seen in the past. An error allows this El Camino Warrior team to take the lead.
Yeah, costly error that gave up 2 runs, and it was a little surprising too, because you mentioned earlier the breeze is kind of starting to pick up. It's moving in from right field, but it seemed at that time when the ball was hit, the breeze had died down a little bit.
That brings up left-handed hitting Gabby Munoz, the first baseman for the Chargers. She takes one. Good movement. One for 3 earlier, had an RBI. And Hernandez is deceptive out there. You see the rock, the motion. That comes high, squeezed it just a bit, 1-1.
Yeah, see, I'm going to call her a little sneaky fast in the circle.
Perryman playing deep at first. Lewis even at the bag. This one's straightaway center field. Wynn holds it up. Nakawaki makes the catch. He's up Vanessa Ayala, who was 0 for 3 earlier.
Now batting left fielder
out of
number 11,
Norwalk High School, excuse me, California High School.
You look at Ayala coming into the competition today, batting .370, on base percentage of .411, and a slugging percentage of .437.
Takes that strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 2 hits apiece.
Got 16 RBIs so far this season.
Right-hander takes that one, goes the other way, bounces it to Araujo, over the pyramid. Easy 4-3 for Bogdanovich, the designated player.
And every time I see that last name, I always wonder if that person is related to Peter Bogdanovich.
I always think Bogdan or Boyan Bogdanovich.
I'd rather be related to Peter.
Okay. And there's one high, 1-0. And his famous movies?
Huh?
His famous movies?
Oh, man, I just knew it, and it just slipped away for a second.
Suburban League MVP Bogdanovich. Goes by Maddie, takes a 1-0 pitch. Nice frame, but it's still a ball, 2-0.
I thought Corey was going to say that was his favorite movie. I was going to say I never saw that one.
Bogdanovich, part of the Whittier Daily News' dream team for 3 seasons. 3 straight seasons. That's high. Good eye by Matt Bogdanovich. Is 3-0. 3 close pitches as well. I like the catcher Marissa Garza, the way she sets up. Her glove movement's not wild. Very compact. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hitters count.
Corey, we're going to find out how much knowledge Noah's got. So in between, I'm going to ask one of my traditional questions to Noah and see if he's got an answer here when we talk softball.
Oh, that's pretty. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That came up a little bit off of that one. Hit the inside part of the plate. Bogdanovich wanted to swing. That would have been a definite out if she had. Would have come up on the fist. 3-2 count, 2 outs, bottom of the 2nd, down by 2. Takes that one, foul, tips it, staying alive.
Just gets a little bit of it. And again, when you look at somebody in the circle, small of stature, you sort of think, okay, maybe I'm going to see a lot of off speed, a little junk thrown in there. But you've got somebody in the circle for El Camino that every once in a while can step on the accelerator. And I think that catches the hitters by surprise.
Well, she's listed at 5'1". This one's popped in the air to left field. Under it is Robinson. And she makes the catch to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. No harm done. So at the end of 2, it is now El Camino 2, Cypress nothing. This is Cypress College softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
Well, here you go, Noah. We see a lot of these young ladies will mimic the men when they come up to the plate, and they wear their batting gloves. So I've got to ask you, who was the first person to ever wear a batting glove? Who did he play for, and what's the story behind it?
Can I guess a year? Because I have no idea on the player.
No, don't even guess. Just tell us.
All right.
Because I couldn't even get this one.
Just tell us.
Ed Ford's giving me his 2 cents. He's talking about one of his high school teachers. It was actually Ken Harrelson, played for the Boston Red Sox. And what happened with Ken?
I like the Julius Caesar answer.
That's better. Ken Harrelson actually went out and played golf, came to the ballpark with his golf club. He walked right off the golf course, came to the ballpark, felt so good swinging the golf club, he put the glove back on. He went 4 for 4 that day, and everybody else thought, gee, if this is something that works, and the invention of the batting glove started in baseball and now has rolled over the game of softball.
Diamond Lewis pops it straight up in the air to first base side. Munoz under it and makes the grab. Big out. Anytime you can get her first pitch swinging and the first pitch out, that's effective pitching by Brannon. You know, I still can't find that story.
For what?
for that anecdote. I mean, not meaning it's not true, but no, I still can't find it. All the years we've been doing this, this one's flared in the right field. That's going to drop in between LaFaux and Sandoval, and a base hit for Hernandez. She's helping her cause.
Seems like the second time through the order, the Warriors are going to be much more aggressive against Brendan in the plate.
Now batting number 30.
That's why I like
Kylie
Mark's
Perryman.
minutia. That's Kylie Perryman, who grounded out to short her first time at bat. And you look at Hernandez at first base, even though you said she's small in stature at 5'1", she's compact and has some strength.
Well, like one of our fellow broadcasters would say, if we actually did find out she was 5'1", girl, be proud of that 5 foot 1 inch.
This one's grounded. Campos to second. Gets the lead runner over to first. And Laufo, I didn't think she was going to make that throw to first base, but she decided to, and she gets Perriman on the inning-ending double play. So no runs on 1 hit. No errors and nobody left on base at the end of 2.5. It's still 2-0 here at Cypress College.
So I know Ed Ford doesn't have a headset on. I should probably loan him mine because I always like it this time of the season, and Ed, you're going to have to bring a headset when we start doing the regionals. I like putting you two on the spot because these two guys, it always seems like one of these two loves somebody from Northern California, Noah, when it comes to the playoffs, and figures that Northern California team's going to give somebody a run for the money. So when we're out here for the regionals, we'll find out. Ed Ford, Corey Neyland will get out there. Northern California team's going to get a lot of love from either Corey Neyland and or Ed Ford.
And it'll be deserved love. I mean, right now, yeah, College of San Mateo as the #1 team in the state. And when you look at their stats, when you look at their records, yeah, they've played some competition, but that's all teams. They're the #1 team in the state. I mean, they'll get a lot of love, and they'll probably be there at the end battling one of these teams for the championship. San Joaquin Delta, who surprised us a couple years ago, maybe, but could San Jose be the surprise team up north? San Jose?
Up north?
I still like Sierra. Oh, okay.
So Ed Ford said Julius Caesar Community College isn't going to be there at the end?
Sierra might, though. As we have right field is Sidra Montoya, center field is Mina Nakawaki, and left field is Cassie Robinson for El Camino. Left to right in the infield, Diamond Lewis, Alana De La Torre, Brooklyn Araujo, and Kylie Perryman. Still in the circle is Joss Hernandez and her battery mate, Marissa Garza, as for Cypress, down 2 runs and start their bottom half of the 3rd inning. And taking a strike is Eliza Sandoval.
Corey, I watched Diamond Lewis in 2 games, and every once in a while you see a softball player at the community college level that seems to have D1 stamped on her when you watch her play the game. I'll watch her over at third base. She just has great hands and great footwork at third base for El Camino.
1-1 as the glove pops. Yeah, she's going to the next level, and she's going to play well. She's got a chance to be Player of the Year in the Southern region. Off-speed pitch. Fouled away.
And just to add to your point, Mark, too, in the first game that we watched her play against College of the Canyons, she showed really great speed on the base pass and really great in the batter's box, too. Truly, you could even say a 5-tool player, well-rounded third baseman over there.
Yeah, I'd say that. When she gets back up, we'll go over her offensive accomplishments. Orange Empire rankings, standing, Cypress is #1 with Fullerton College #2. We joked, last night that they finally got some pitching, and look what happens. That ball is high. Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes, no outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Cypress is down 2 runs.
Let's be realistic. When it comes to softball, if you don't have people in the circle If you get there, you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, you have to have pitching. Unless your lineup consists of Sue Lewis, Stacy Newman, Natasha Watley, Lisa Fernandez.
You know, I mean, there's some girls afterwards. We've seen ones that have owned the home run record in Orange County and everything. But Corey, I mean, you think about some of the players that played in the old days, like a Michelle Granger. You talked about her at the Michelle Crew Classic.
Who Lance Eddy says the best pitcher he's ever seen.
That's right. That's what he said. I mean, you just sit there and go, wow, some of the magical players that used to be in the game.
Off-speed pitch on the hands. Perryman giving chase, can't get it. Gives Sandoval another attempt.
Noah, you watch these off-speed pitches, and what it makes you do is it makes you think as a hitter, and it makes that fastball maybe 2 miles an hour faster because you're thinking, I get that off-speed pitch. I can't swing too soon. I got to wait on it.
And what I really like about Hernandez, too, is she can hit her spots with each of those pitches, with their off-speed, with their fastball. She can work inside, outside. She really mixes her stuff well, and she doesn't walk anybody.
2-2 the count. No outs. Fastball, a little quick. Lewis, Perriman, off the bag, but tags her out.
And Corey, you just saw Diamond Lewis wait on a ground ball. For most players, you probably don't get the runner. Diamond Lewis waits and then strides towards the bag, and the young lady has a remarkable arm over there at third base.
Brings up Amanda Campos, who's a liberal arts major. She's going to square around to show bunt. Brings it back and pops it foul. And back to the OEC rankings, Santiago Community College is number 3 in the OEC, Mark. Mark cannot understand how they keep winning. Santa Ana College is 4th. Riverside College is 5th, who I thought was going to be the Santiago Canyon this year and be a surprise down south. OCC is 6th, being the surprise. Saddleback and Golden West rounded out.
So 1 through 5, you claim are going to make it. Ed Ford said they should make it in the playoffs.
This one is staying alive swing as Torres does that. She's down 0-2 with 1 out.
Orange Coast College has to get hot and go almost perfect for the rest of the season to impress everybody. And there's a team that I think when you did it with smoke and mirror, like they did it earlier this season, once the mirror breaks, they find out who you are, you start to tumble.
Outside, 1-2. And Hernandez can afford to throw another junk pitch out there to Torres. Or excuse me, Campos. Campos in their win against Saddleback in that 15-0 win. He had a stolen base. Had a couple hits. She slaps one to short. De La Torre up with it. Strong throw, too high. And you're going to give an E?
I am.
I thought she was there, though. I thought it was boom, catch, same time.
We'll see what the official scorekeeper does.
Looks like they gave her an error.
They gave her an error with that high throw. So E6 on the score. So with 1 out, there's a runner on first. Infinity Laufo, who was 1 for 4 earlier, steps up to the plate, looking to do some damage. Part of the 2012 Dream Team, 3-year varsity player. And that was at Los Alamitos. She fouls one back. We got a chance to watch her in the Michelle Carew Classic. Majoring in civil engineering.
So I am going to put Corey Neyland on a spot in a second when we talk about the Cypress team.
Oh, you know I'm never on a spot.
Because I do have a question for you.
Right-handed. Batter steps in and takes it outside, 1-1.
We've always said the Cypress team has some really top-of-the-line player, maybe 2 or 3 of them, but this year it seems like it's just a team. Or Corey, am I just not reading the numbers right or looking at the players properly?
Well, I think it's always a team. I mean, there's a ground ball to Lewis over to second, gets one, over to first, got her. So an inning-ending double play, Lewis Araujo, Perryman. And that negates the error. So 5-4-3 if you're scoring at home. And that'll end the inning. So at the end of 3 complete, El Camino 2, Cypress nothing. This is Cypress College softball on sportsnetusa.net. And back to your statement, yeah, I always think it's a team. Even though
something where softball people go, oh yeah, she was, you know, the whipped cream on top of that hot fudge sundae.
Yeah, and then you're looking at this year's team, it's Infinity Laufo, who for a single season last year, 59 RBIs. That's 3rd all-time in Cypress history. And Brandon's still in the circle. She delivers a strike to Alana De La Torre, who bunt singled and scored a run in her first at-bat in the second. She skies one into center field. Under it is McPherson, and we want to thank McPherson for the water earlier. That's the first out.
Now batting number 15.
Nothing like watching an old man just shrivel in the sun. Just frightens everybody.
And Mina Nakawaki, who reached on an error and scored the 2nd run of the game on a 2 RBI single by Marissa Garza. And she was fooled. That's a strike, 0-1.
I mean, Noah, you got to always water the sunflower, you know.
Are you saying you're the sunflower?
Hey.
No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Lays one down, and there goes Nakawaki. Good fielding pitcher from the circle is Brandon.
Noah, you see her reaction when she squares for the bunt. She doesn't wait for the ball to come to her. She went after it.
And that's something, too, you give a lot of props to Brendan coming out of the mound so quickly, or coming out of the circle really quickly to field that ball. No hesitation there, and she made an easy play over to first.
She wanted that one, but that was just inside. She struck out Araujo, Brookley with an N, Araujo, in that 2nd inning. Foul back, 1-1.
This is Corey Neyland's type of softball game, quickly moving.
Yes, it is. 294 hitter, that freshman is. Out of Warren High School, and she does not drop it in as McPherson says, I got it. And McPherson says, you know what, that's the end of the inning, 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 3.5, it's still 2-0. El Camino over Cypress. Due up for the Chargers is Brannon, Borges, and McPherson. El Camino came into this game as a team.
Hey, does this mic work?
It does,
mic
and
works.
you are up on the air. And so I got my 2 favorite Northern California guys here now. Northwest Northern California, Southeast Northern California. You know, it's almost like the high desert goes all the way up to San Francisco and Modesto for Ed Ford.
Well, it's not a question of loving Northern California. You just got to give those teams respect. I mean, they play good softball. San Mateo, lots of offense, lots of pitching. San Mateo's problem is, and I said it last year, they can't win the big game. They have great stats. They get into the state tournament championship. They can't pull it off. But if you look at what they've done this year, they're doing great. San Joaquin Delta, another formidable team. Like I said, with San Jose, last year San Jose got into the playoffs. So it's not like there's something new and unique. So they'll be there. They'll be a good team. They beat some people. Monterey Peninsula is another good team. So those are the 4 best teams. Then you have Sierra's a good team. They won the state championship in 2014. They've got to be somewhat good. And Sac City right now is playing at Mount Sac. So we'll see how that goes. And Sac City has won, 3 state championships. Now they don't, they don't have as many as Brad, but they've won a few here and there.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, those teams deserve all the respect they can get, but I agree. There were a couple times recently where they were probably they weren't able to pull through.
And we've got the El Camino Warriors here. I'm sure they will like to win the state championship this year too, and they're capable of it.
As long as their pitching holds up. This one's bounced Brandon to Lewis. Lewis over to first. And that means 5-3. And every time they Lewis, it seems like they're dejected once it gets into her glove. It's like, you know what, I'm not even going to run. And this will bring in Leslie Borges, who was 0 for 3 in that first game. And
Well, Corey, you watch Diamond Lewis. She plays even or behind the bag. Most third base people in softball play 2 or 3 steps in front of the bag. Now I say that Diamond steps up 2 or 3 steps in front of the bag.
Borges singled in the first inning, takes that one in there for a strike. And you talk about the San Mateo. It's not like they're devoid of talent. I mean, Harley Donovan, who played there a few years back, NAIA Softball Player of the Year when she matriculated to the 4-year and set their record for home runs in a career at 38. So it's not like they're devoid of talent up there. Last year they had 2 of the best pitchers in the state, and I forget their names, but I had one of them as Player of the Year, but the other one won. 2-0 is your score. Too low is the pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
We'll get Ed back on the air to talk a little more about the poll that Ed's got going compared to the state of California poll.
Borges, physical therapist major, line ones to De La Torre. L6.
Now batting number 2, Gabe McPherson.
And for Cypress, even though you're not getting these hits, you are making really hard contact against Hernandez. That has to be promising.
So if they just keep it close, they're down 2. But this is the type of game, if El Camino were to win, it'd be very important. Even if they can shut them out.
Well, I think what it does is you match up well in the circle then, if you could shut them out. So
2 balls, no strikes. There's a bunt laid down. McPherson over. There's the gun. 3 up and 3 down.
I really like the awareness by Hernandez, too. She saw Lewis had the better angle, and she probably knows she has a better arm, and it's an easier throw for her, so she let her take the grounder and make the strong throw to first.
2-0 is the score at the end of 4. El Camino with the lead. And when you look at El Camino, or excuse me, you look at Cypress, and we were talking about their discipline and how you have to, with all great teams and great programs, you look at the Patriots in football, they don't beat themselves. And you look at Duke basketball, well, back in the day, they used to be that team that didn't beat themselves, and that's what Cypress is doing. You look at teams.
I'm going to beat up Ed Ford in a second because we talk about the strong 16, Ed, and we talk about what you've got on the strong 16 that you've got here on sports@usa.net. I see a disparity between you and the state of California, and I know it's the poll out of sports@usa.net, but do you see a disparity? I mean, you've got Cypress down at number 4 in that poll.
Well, if Palomar beats you 2 games, Palomar needs to move up. It's that simple.
Yeah.
People could argue against that, but I think that's what should happen. We never rated Long Beach that high. And the state, at the beginning of the year, people were going crazy over Long Beach. And look where Long Beach is now.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. And they weren't rating San Jose very high, and look where they are now.
So up now in the top half of the 5th inning. We've got Bella Estrada, who struck out, Marissa Garza, who had a 2 RBI single, and Cassie Robinson, who grounded out to short, and Brandon losing a little bit of focus here at 2-0. To Estrada, who's not the most fearsome hitter out there. but she does hit over 300.
And Noah, the difference in this game really is an error that somebody took advantage of and an error that went by the wayside because you got out of the inning. That's the only difference in this game right now.
Well, going into the game, too, you knew El Camino was a very fast team. So you knew when that error and the dropped ball over in right field, they advanced 2 bases, and in the very next play, they had the opportunity to score on that one. But they're a very fast team, so those are the teams you don't want to make errors against because they can get on you in a hurry.
2-0 your score, 2 hits apiece, 1 error apiece. Estrada takes that for a strike. So we have the quintessential 3-1 hitters count. And let's see what Estrada does with this. Head coach Jessica Raposa in her 5th season. Prior to here, she takes that one low, so there's one speedy player on base.
So Brandon's got the strike zone moving around on her right now, Corey. She's having problems finding it. When she thinks she's finding it, I think she thinks she's getting a little squeezed by the umpire.
Not at that at bat, though. That one, it did jump. This one is swung on and hit deep to the warning track, to the fence, and to left center. That's going to score Estrada from first on a stand-up double by Marissa Garza, the catcher. My goodness, that ball was launched.
Yeah, Garza's had a really good day at the plate, especially hitting off Brennan, too, so they might have to reconsider things and attack her differently the next time she comes up around.
Did she hit that really long foul ball down the left field line?
Yes,
so
you're right.
This time she'd have pulled it a little more. Kaboom.
Yeah, and she is responsible for all 3 runs batted in today for El Camino. It's 3-0, 3 hits for the Warriors. And this is really a different team that we've seen, what we saw last year in the playoffs. Last year we came in and El Camino had one of their best seasons of their recent memory, and they came into Cypress and, well, Cypress just took them apart.
Well, with the new format in the state tournament, well, it's actually the old format. They brought it back with 8 teams. It gives teams like El Camino and others a chance to get into the playoffs.
And you see Cassidy Robinson was going to do what it just said and try to pull that. And she was all over that first pitch, but it was foul.
Well, that's why I brought up the note. It looks like Brandon has maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 pitches at more. I would think she's got more to her repertoire. She's just not using it.
And she launches this one. This is going to stay foul. It is foul over the 207 marker. And that went about 220. But it was foul. So Cassidy Robinson jumped all over it. No balls and 2 strikes. That's just a long foul ball for Robinson, who's the all SEC Division First team in 2017. Business administration major. And the delegation from Robinson is behind us. Thought that was fair. Off-speed pitch. High over the numbers 1 and 2.
I thought it was fair. I'm sorry. I thought it was fair. Ed's got a better view than I do, Ed, so I don't know if you thought it was fair or
I'm
foul.
not getting into one of these Corey Mark, potato things, or tomato arguments.
I don't need tomatoes, so we're good there.
And I'm not shaped like a potato or a potato.
But I do like French fries. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs, top 5.
Skins or no skins?
Skins. Inside 3 balls and 2 strikes. So started off 0-2. We're now working to count to 3-2. Running around second base is Garza. So Cassie Robinson looking to extend their lead. This one fouled back. And I think Brannon's calmed down a little bit. Robinson's calmed down just a little. So this is a good at bat. 7th pitch. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at bat. And this one, left field. It's deep. And it's gone. Cassie Robinson extends the lead to 5-0. And for Robinson, it was out of here the minute it left the bat, and that is her second home run of the.
So, and the thing is, I tell you what, I thought the first one was a home run. Ed Ford wouldn't get in the debate, so she just decided, well, you know what, guys? I'll let both of you be right. And when she turned in that, I don't know about you, Noah, but I think everybody in this park knew that ball was gone.
Yeah, and to go back, the Warriors in the second time through their lineup, I feel like the storm was kind of brewing. They were getting really good contact, whether it was Garza, whether it was Lewis. They seemed like they had a plan in attacking Brennan early on, and it finally got to the ninth batter in the lineup, and she had really good contact against her, and she finally able to take that one over the wall. But really nice adjustments by the entire lineup. That second time through was really tough for Brennan.
And that's the number 9 hitter. Now we're back to the top of the order with Diamond Lewis. And that's what I wanted to talk to you and Ed about putting such a potent bat at number 9. And what effect does that have on your team? And is that quality strategy that you guys would use? Bounce to Borquez over to first. That's the first out.
You know, Corey, I really do like balance in a lineup. When you look at it, I've never liked top-heavy lineups when you've looked at it, because top-heavy lineups allow me as a pitcher, if I luck out and get through those first 4, I might be able to just breeze through the bottom. But if I've got balance that I've got to go against, I can't make a mistake through the entire lineup. And so that's why I like balance in a staff when we see people coming up to the plate.
For Cypress is Madison Bogdanovich. So Bogdanovich, now the designated player, goes into right field. Eliza Sandoval, who's the pitcher, who's also a pitcher, comes out.
So Ed, when we get our next break, I mean, when we go back to talking about the playoffs, which we will in our next break, my big question is, Ed said they changed things back, and explain that to our listeners, what they changed, from what they went from to what they're going to now. And if it does lead to an advantage to maybe an El Camino team because of the change in the playoffs.
Oh, 1-0. And you speak of a top-heavy lineup, Mark. We saw a top-heavy lineup. We take it back down to the high school level. And Hernandez drills one in the left field, and that's overhead of Ayala. And Hernandez is up there with a stand-up double. So she's 2 for 3 on the day thus far. And there's still simply 1 out. So Perryman, who's had a rough couple innings at first base, let's see what she can do at the plate, where she's 0 for 2 already. Takes that for a strike. 4-year varsity player.
If you remember, Corey, where were we last year? We came out here, we did this El Camino against Cypress. Matter of fact, Ryan Osborne interviewed Jessica Raposa before the game. And what happened during the game? El Camino won handily. It wasn't even that close. Cypress, I believe, rallied at the end, but El Camino had the game in hand most of the game.
Right. And 2 rise pitches that Perryman can't, well, she can't hold off, and she goes down swinging. I want to bring up her headband.
Now batting number 14.
She wears it and for every game. Didn't help her on that kick. Bring up Alana De La Torre.
So what you're saying, Ed, is that Brad Pickler should not invite us back to do an El Camino Cypress game? Is that what you're saying?
Perhaps.
Is
that or we fire Ryan.
2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. 2-run blast by Cassie Robinson. By Marissa Garza. And there's one over the head of the right fielder, and that's going to be in another run. Tori stretches that into a triple. I give that a
yeah, I'm going to give it a triple. I give her a triple.
But there's that speed again, Mark. We talked about it earlier. El Camino's a very fast team. Another triple. They lead the state of California in triples.
Okay, guys, we talked run rule. Corey Neyland and I sort of disagree, but now I saw the rules. Got to be 8, right, Corey?
Yeah, 8 runs is the run rule, and you were mentioning the progressive rule that does happen in some all over this country, and specifically for California, it is 8 runs. 8 runs after 5.
Corey Neyland trying to change the rules all the time, man. You got to watch yourself.
I don't change the rules. Lined up the middle, snagged out of there, Brannon. And that'll end the 5th, but not before. 4 runs come across. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 4.5, it is 6-0 El Camino. Corey Neyland, Noah Alvarez, Mark Pavlovich, Ed Ford. Gabby Neyland. She needs dinner.
And I happened to bring it up during the inning and said we talk about it. The playoffs have changed. You said they've gone back. So if you could give the listener some idea of how it's changed from last year to this year.
Well, in 2016, when San Diego Canyon won, you had a system where everybody would play the regionals, and then you would have then you go to the super regional level. Well, the super regionals were, we've done them various times from Cypress. Then you'd have 4-team super regionals. So when we did it with Cypress, they had Palomar here. One year they had Palomar, San Diego Canyon, and College of the Canyons. Okay, Palomar, they're one of the best teams. So they changed it the next year. Last year back to the way it used to be, where you have an 8-team playoff for the state championship. So you take 4 of the super regional winners from the south and the north. So now the super regionals are just 2 teams against each other instead of a 4-team super regional. So teams like El Camino in 2016, they got stuck with. I think they were in the same one with Mount Sac and San Diego Canyon. So it's like, how are you going to get out of something like that? Even Mount Sac thought that, hey, we're going to take this thing, but San Diego Canyon came back and beat them in that last game. So it gives more teams a chance to get in, and you're not negating your best teams. I think that's the best way of putting it. So you get a Palomar in there, you get a Cypress in there, you get a Mount Sac in there, you get an El Camino in there. Like last year, those were the 4 teams from the south that got in. I would argue that those might be the 4 teams from the south that get in this year, because the 4 best teams, you can mix them up in any order. You could say Cypress is number 1, that's fine, but it's Cypress, El Camino, Mount Sac, and Palomar. And Fullerton, I would put Fullerton in there as the 5th team. They're strong this year. I give them credit.
If they're the real deal. So Gabby Munoz, left-handed batter, takes the first pitch, strike. Cypress, 2 hits, both came in the first inning. So 3 up, 3 down in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th innings. Josh Hernandez, as you say, here's your play, is dealing. No balls and 1 strike to Munoz. 1-1 now. Munoz out of Sonora High School. Bats left and throws left. She played in the World Series of softball in Orlando, Florida 1 year. Said that was her biggest thrill, and this one's flared out of play. Gabrielle Munoz aspires to go to Africa for wildlife rehabilitation. 6-0 is your score. They're down. Only 2 hits with run error. Josh Hernandez in the circle delivers. There's one line to De La Torre. She goes down and snags it.
And you know, Mark, it's worth mentioning because in the first game we talked about Brennan and her strikeout to walk ratio, and you mentioned 3-1 is something that you want to desire, but 4-1 is something elite. When you look at Hernandez's strikeout to walk ratio, it's pushing 6 to 1. She's really been in control of this game, only given up 2 hits, and she hasn't walked anybody. She really keeps herself out of trouble.
Good placement there. But that negated the ball. Or excuse me, negates a good pitch. That's 1-0.
Yeah, no, look at what she's got in the infield. I mean, the gloves have been flashing today for this El Camino team.
2 balls and no strikes.
You show a little leather besides having solid pitching. You should walk away with either a 1-run loss or win that game. I mean, you're not going to get your brains beat in if you're playing that solid of defense the way the Warriors are doing right now.
2-0 pitch on the way. That's a see-me pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out here. Outfield straight away. Infield even. Left center field, gapper. And there's Ayala rounding for Madison Bogdanovich.
Now batting number 7, Maddie Bogdanovich.
Ayala at first base, guys. 3 stolen bases. Can add, that's 13 stolen bases. Squares and takes the ball. Ayala in CIF when she was in high school. At California High School, game-winning hit in CIF. Bogdanovich had a good at-bat. Takes that for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Is there another surprise team? South. Squares, lays it down, foul. 1 and 2.
I would say Orange Coast is a surprise team. I don't think anybody thought they would play like that. I think everybody thought of Orange Coast from the past where, you know, they win 5 games or 6 games total, and they started off very well and they held it together for a while. They had a long losing streak, and we'll see if they can run the table here at the end.
Game, I believe, this year. That's outside, 2 and 2.
And Corey Neyland asked what maybe Peter Bogdanovich directed. The last picture show, Paper Moon, what's up, Doc? They all laugh. She's funny that way. The mask, the cat's meow, at long last, St. Jack, targets are some of the pictures that he did. Be interesting to find out if we've got a distant relative over here. I still have some acting chops. Still a member of the union. Leading man, baby, leading man.
I was made of pork. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Belted foul. So Ayala heads back to first base. Got a nice Saturday, not quite windy afternoon. And if you didn't know, we were at Cypress College. Whole bunch of people sitting around a bunch of dirt and grass. Softball match between El Camino number 10 in the Strong 16 rankings and Cypress number 4 in the Strong 16. Bogdanovich trying to get it, scratch the board here. She bounces 1 foul again to left field. This is the 9th pitch coming up.
And if we take Noah's philosophy, because she's seen so many pitches, that means she should get a base hit.
And she scored up a few of them pretty well. I like her chances in getting a hit.
Yes or no? Hit.
Yes.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Fly ball in the left field. Robinson under it.
Taking pot down Noah.
Just got a little underneath it.
As Eliza Sandoval steps into the batter's box.
Number 5, Eliza Sandoval.
Yeah, I think we used to say that when we used to play golf. And sky those tee shots. Yeah, just got a little bit underneath of it.
That's why Corey's favorite club is a putter from 150 yards.
Anything that look, I'd be happy on a golf course. That's in there for a strike. Just a little. For who has 14 majors is 1 back. At least that's what he was back. 0-1 line drive. Robinson scoops. Nope. Gets to the fence. And that's going to score Ayala from first. Going to make it 6-1. Sandoval trying to stretch to 3. She does. And a single and 2-base error scores 1. So that's an earned run. And then if Sandoval scores, that'll be an unearned.
And so here's a Scott Beck thought and a Mark Pavlovich thought when you come to plays like that. You come in, you put the glove down, you're trying to make that big play. If you let it hit, nobody scores. No errors on that, Noah. Earned run against the pitcher in the circle because you thought you were better than you were when you were in the outfield there.
Yeah, it's a costly error. You got to stick to the basic fundamentals, especially when you have a big lead. No need to get fancy here. I understand if a runner was breaking home, but the runner was on first. There's no need for something like that.
See, did you hear Noah? That was a costly error, is what Noah said over here.
And this will bring up with Amanda Campos.
It's nice that Corey broke his headset so we can't hear his answer.
I'm an agreeable chap today. 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for El Camino. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for Cypress. Oh.
And going back to Sandoval's hit, if there was anybody that kind of had a monkey on their back just because of the previous error that she made earlier in the game, probably a good feeling for her to knock one in and also drive in the first run of the game for Cypress.
Really, guys. Popped up. And there's Hernandez underneath. That's the 2nd out, 3rd out. Seven the outs in the bottom half of the softball on sportsnetusa.net.
Gee, you're going to have to fix that problem. Mark's
I was going to say, are you talking over there or are you just sort of doing a mime? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What are you, miming?
Twist up and then twist down. No. Yeah, like that. A little, now bring the boom up.
The boom. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now we go. Now you got to pot yourself up. I know this is all technical.
Go ahead now. No.
Wow. Corey Neyland just went away on us.
I did as
Oh, you're back. Oh, you went away. Gotta wonder what Corey Neyland did or didn't do. As Cypress picks up 1 run, but we're here heading for the 6th. It's El Camino 6. The Chargers won here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Well, Mark, you know, as we followed Cypress and Brad Pickler here, it is very hard to beat Cypress 2 times in the same day. Now, that did happen earlier this year with Palomar, and I think it might have happened last year.
Yeah.
But before that, it had been years, maybe decades. I don't know, a long, long time. To run rule, Cypress, I don't know when that's ever happened.
Yeah,
Before Brad Pickler got here, probably.
Yeah,
so
I don't
we'd have
remember
to
us
go way
seeing-
back in the archives for that.
Did we ever see a run rule when we done a game here for against Cypress?
Oh no, I've never even seen one in the scores that I've been following for the last 5-6 years. I don't know when they've ever been run rule.
I've never seen a run rule Cypress game. And this one is flied in the right center field, excuse me. And that's an out. So we've got changes as Eliza Sandoval is pitching for Cypress. And we've got a new right fielder is Janin. Or excuse me, Brannon. I hate it when I combine first and last names.
So you got her as Janana?
No, I just got her as Janin. Janin. Janiyah Brannon in right field. Eliza Sandoval now in the circle. And it's still 6-1 with one out. Fires one in there for a strike, 1-1. .309 as a team they came into these day. 6.3 runs a game. They've got 6 now as this one's fouled back. On base percentages of .391, slugging .455, and 11 home runs as a team is the Warriors. Sandoval wanted strike 3, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And what you're seeing from Cypress, they keep looking to get the low call out here, and so far they have not gotten that from Blue behind the plate.
This one's fouled straight back.
Yeah, for the most part of this game, the Blue has had a relatively tight strike zone for both sides.
Well, like Corey says, sometimes you have to adjust to what the officials are giving you in a game.
Just a little bit outside.
Wow.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Just missed. Good eye. Good eye by Estrada. This one is straight back. Almost the same pitch, but you see the difference in that pitch. The first pitch was a ball to make it 3-2. It was just outside. That one came right over the edge of the plate. That would have been called strike 3 without a swing. Line right back up the middle. And those rules succeed. Good at bat, good hit. Hit number 8 for the Warriors. Estrada, a threat to run at first. Marissa Garza, who had a 2 RBI single in the second, an RBI double in the 5th. Part of 4 runs that came across in the 5th inning.
Yeah, she's seen the ball very well this game. Sandoval has to be very careful when pitching to her.
And you know, guys, I missed the wind. Garza squared up the bunt with 1 out. 8 hits and 6 runs.
I mean, you don't like that heating pad on your back, right?
Foul straight up, goes straight back. 1-1 is the count.
That's okay. Gabby Neyland's back there texting crazy on her phone. She's just sent about 8 messages to the Czech Republic.
Another one fouled back.
Would she just text you and said, how long does this game last?
You know, if you had had a day off from your other employment, you and Gabby could have gone to Phoenix and watched the Czech Republic baseball team. They played maybe Phoenix College or somebody like that.
How come I did not know about this? 1 ball and 2 strikes, it's fouled back. We would have driven to Phoenix just, man.
I'll tell you next year then. You know, I do follow Arizona Community College softball and baseball.
Ed actually can read and speak Czech. That's the difference between you and Ed.
And then off-speed pitch. There goes Estrada. Easy steal. Give her a stolen base. I think the Czech national team actually started. It's been for years, but it hasn't really been interested until like the last 10 to 12 years. And they've been trying to build that program up. Ground ball to short. Borges over to first to Munoz. That's out number 2. And here comes Cassie Robinson, who her last at bat
Now batting number 20, Cassie
crushed it, would be
Robinson.
saying mildly.
It's after she hooked one foul, Corey, that she hit just as far.
Wow, yeah, actually, yeah. That one she went foul. That was monstrous. And she wanted another one, and she pops it straight up. And here's Campos under it to record the 3rd out. But at the end of 5.5, it is still 6-1 El Camino. Headed now to the bottom of the 6th inning with Laufo, Brannon, and Borges.
You know, Ed, I was teasing while you were off the air. We were talking about Brad Pickler and how many games he won, and I sort of said, yeah, he's behind somebody who plays maybe junior high teams and everything else. But the coach that's in front of him, his team plays what? Like, what were you telling me? Like 64 games a year?
Yeah, in the NJCAA, the teams have a tendency to play way more games than what happens in the CCCAA or Triple CAA anymore. A long time ago, you would, if you ever come to a Cypress game, look at some of the records and on the team room, and you'll see where Cypress used to play like 55 games or something like that. But the teams don't do that anymore. But in Arizona, you still have that, where in their league, the ACCAC, they will play 50 games or somewhere around in that area. And it's interesting out there. They have D1 and D2 teams together. And it's not really fair because the D1 teams usually beat up on the D2 team, except for Phoenix College, which I still don't know why, but they are a D2 team, and they are on top of the standings of everybody. I mean, they can beat anyone. So other places, they just play many more games, a lot of doubleheaders. I know in Arizona, most of the time they're playing doubleheaders. So we don't see that here in California, and that's where I think you get the discrepancy of not as many games played. And you would think the weather's better out here and we could play a whole lot more games. But the doubleheader has kind of disappeared, except for in areas like Lassen College and Feather River and Siskiyou. They play a bunch of doubleheaders, but I think that's because the weather's so bad and the teams are so far apart they have to travel 200 miles to play an opponent in their conference. So they're just kind of two different animals.
And once we get some of those Arizona teams out here for a tournament, we'll be cooking. Infinity steps up. She takes that one, fouls it off. Wanted to take a base on a hit. You know, when we do hit the lottery.
In the this year's Dave Hawk Wilder that Glendale College always puts on, Sal Pizzo, that we covered last season. I went up there this year, and there was a team from Arizona. Gateway College came out and played some games. So I got a chance to watch them.
This ball is outside, 1-1. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to organize a multi-state softball tournament.
Well, you mean a multi-state softball tournament that involves California teams, because in Arizona they already have that.
Yeah, that involves California teams.
Because there's the Arizona Western has a tournament, the shootout, and they have teams from Utah, Nevada, Arizona, some other, I think a team from Illinois comes out. So they have about 5 or 6 states that play in that.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Basically, California is the laggards. Everybody else is doing it. And College of Southern Nevada has a beginning, I don't know what they call theirs, but it's the same deal. They get a lot of out-of-state teams.
Off-speed pitch, fouled sharply down the left field line.
And I don't know if it's a travel issue because Midland College, which is in Midland, Texas, and that's in the heart of Texas, right in the heart, not in the Panhandle area or anything like that. They come all the way out and play against some of the Arizona teams. They were out here in February or March, played 6 games, I believe.
2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Ryan and I were talking about that yesterday. Foul, hot shot off of Lewis, and that's going to go into left field for a
error.
E5.
One of the problems may be that with all the things that Mark says against RPI, and I will agree with him 100%, I think some of the teams don't want to play you don't want to go out to Arizona and play because it doesn't help you with the regionals or the RPI or anything, which I think is ridiculous. You're trying to grow this sport, go out and play in Arizona. Have those Arizona teams come here. Let's see who's really the best.
Yeah, and with softball, I don't think it's the travel. I don't think that's the biggest deal as if you were to have like a football national championship or, tournament. I think with softball, much easier because of travel, and they're already traveling as a youth with PGF and Michelle Carew. It's easier, so it should get done. No balls, 1 strike.
As a matter of fact, Midland's coach, and I hope I don't have this wrong, I believe Midland's coach, Midland College, which I mentioned earlier, she went to Downey High School. She played community college softball in California, I think Southern California, and then I believe she played up north in Division III softball.
Line drive, De La Torre scoops it out there over to Perryman for the out. Oh, that was pretty. And advancing to third base is Infinity Lafro.
Noah, you look at somebody that can range that way, doesn't give up on the plane, goes back deep, plants the back foot to get the strength on the throw over to first base. Somebody who's played the game of baseball, you've got to be impressed with the strength of that young shortstop.
That was truly special. I thought she was going to try and make a jump throw, and you're right. She wouldn't have as much arm on that, but she did make that the plant with the back foot. She was able to get a lot on that throw, and it was a really good stretch over there by first baseman Perryman.
Okay, what was the pitch? Was it a knuckle? Was it a screw? Or was it just a changeup?
Looked like just a changeup.
De La Torre models her game after Sydney Romero and Derek Jeter.
Well, I'd see why Corey questions if it is a screwball or a knuckler, because Corey, the torque goes away. It floats. It doesn't turn with the lift that you get on even on a changeup, you get lift.
And it just flattened out. Ooh, Borges flies it, Robinson deep, and that is fair or foul. They say foul, even though.
Well, Brad Pickler's just staring down the line, and now he's turning.
He's just asking. He's getting advice. Would you see chalk?
Is the fair foul pole the same? Or if it is?
If it was foul, it was only by a matter of inches. Maybe even less than that.
Borges down in the count, 1-2 with 1 out. And she comes outside. She wasn't going inside one more time. Borges.
Corey, that last pitch, I think you're right. I think it's a screw. You watch the way it turns. She takes a little off, but I think it is a screwball. So it just sort of.
Because the rotation's going.
Yes, opposite.
3 balls and 2 strikes. That was good radio TV right there when I showed an example with my hands.
You did. Yeah.
1 out.
I think you were turning your hand from left to right?
Yes.
Okay. Should have been from right to left, though, for a screwball.
Pravda to Vlevo. This one's line foul again.
Well, that went right in the El Camino dugout.
Pitch number 8 on the way.
See, that's why Corey doesn't go see the Czech national team, because they would say the team from Yugoslavia is playing over there,
Hey,
sir.
I'd be the only person in the stand saying Dobry Hara. Dobry Hara. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And then the person next to me would actually speak Czech. 6-1. El Camino with the lead, and she walks. A good at bat by Borges with runners at the corners. And this will bring up
Now batting
Kimberly
number 2,
McPherson.
First walk, Noah, given up today by El Camino pitching.
And I'm sure Hernandez is running out of gas a little bit. It was a tough at-bat. It's one of those at-bats where, you know, the batter keeps fouling things off. You try and stretch that zone more and more, but the batter did a really nice job on laying off that outside one.
So 6 runs, 8 hits, three errors for El Camino. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for Cypress. This is Cypress Softball on SportsNetUSA.net.
And if your car's having a little troubles like maybe the defenses have had out here today and you think they're just a little shaky, well, what should you do? The best thing to do is take a little stroll down to Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Located at Euclid and the 91, you're going to get the best deals, the best offers, and the best variety, be it a new or used car. So take some time out after you get done watching or even visiting Cypress Softball. Go down there and say, hey, we heard from the guys at sportsnetUSA.net. You get the best deals in Orange County, and that they do. Miller Toyota of Anaheim, located at Euclid in the 91, is a proud sponsor of community college sports, high school sports, but most of all, education.
That first pitch taken for a strike to McPherson. Trying to get a rally going with 1 out. When you're a Cypress College softball player, 5 runs is not insurmountable. El Camino trying to get this big win, and a win like this can help programs. A win like this will help a program for 2 to 3 years down the line. She takes that one high for 1-1 with 1 out and runners at the corners.
Well, what it does, Corey, a win like this could get you that recruit you need for next year.
There's one, not enough range by De La Torre that time. That's going to score a loud foul. Over to third is Borges, and she slides in there safely. And McPherson takes second on an RBI, CNI, 5-hole. How much space can we get in that one? Run batted in.
You got a few, didn't you?
And that's the approach the Cypress batters are going to need. Try not to do too much with it. Get a single here, get a double there, get a walk. That really started things off in this inning. Got to chip away as little as you can because they're not a power hitting team, so they're not going to try and, they shouldn't be trying to hit one over the fence and get things tied in a hurry.
And we now have Gabby Munoz checking in. Gabriella, no home runs, but 2 triples, 17 RBI this season. And she lines one straight to second. And Araujo was there.
I was going to say that if it was Mark Pavlovich's strategy, that's the time you do that drag bunt.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have been too bad of a strategy either.
Yeah, because look how deep you're playing at first base. Right. You know, and that's what I think every once in a while people don't look at. Where is the defense set up?
So Vanessa Ayala, she squares, pulls back for a strike, and it's 0-1. She singled in the 5th and scored a run. Grounded to second base in the 2nd inning, was 0 for 3 in the 1st game. This is high, 1-1. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning.
If you're El Camino, you don't want to hit now because that gets Cypress within 2 runs with 1 inning to play. You need to stop them right here.
On the way, another high. No follow through on that pitch.
But Hernandez also has the benefit of the base open, so if she does want to work around this hitter and maybe attack the hitter on deck, that's possibly an option too.
Not me, baby.
Nah.
I want the 3rd out right now. I don't want to load up the bases against Cypress.
You need a road trip one day with us when we talk strategy on that first base open. This ball is inside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Because no matter what, that next batter always does damage.
Yeah, doesn't it bite you, Corey? You give up that freebie, you know. It's like turning in a meal ticket and thinking you're going to get a dinner.
That only happens at Fullerton. They don't feed you. There's ball number 4.
They don't feed you.
They don't pay you.
They don't feed you.
You know that check that you might have been looking for? It just went into your mailbox that is in Idaho. So you're going to have to drive up there and get it.
Yeah, I'll have to fuel up and get it.
So timeout on the field. 6-2, El Camino with the lead, but there's 2 outs and the bases are loaded for Fullerton, for Cypress. And it's interesting here. One swing of the bat can change things dramatically.
And I thought it was Gabby Neyland was the only one that needed food.
I'm sorry for this one. You can pop me down after if you like. Let's see if Madison Bogdanovich can direct some runs for Cypress in this one.
Oh, here, I give you some on that one. I give you some on that one.
Early education major on the season. She's got 3 RBI. She can pick up 3 with a single swing of the bat. If she gets a double or a triple, she can get 4 with a home run.
Well, here's that magical statement where Noah says, hey, give the open base. Noah, the tying run is now at home plate.
But I like it defensively because you can go to any base for the out. You also get a clean slate. If Hernandez gets ahead of the batter, you're put in a better situation than being down 2-0 and trying to catch back up.
And she takes the first pitch for a strike. So no balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. On deck is Eliza Sandoval. Outfield straightaway, infield even. Off-speed pitch almost fooled her.
Corey Neyland, I've got to ask you, how much confidence do you have to have in that pitch? Bases loaded, you're floating a pitch to a hitter that isn't a strong hitter?
A strong hitter, weak hitter, in that situation, you have to have all the confidence in the world. You have to know your stuff is working and doing well today. No balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3, no.
Well, I'm not sure where that one was.
It was on the black, I guess. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. I mean,
only if it's that reverse negative thing where, you know, white is black, black is white.
And that pitch was set up by those first 2 pitches in the count.
Mm-hmm.
So she comes back with the heater. Now let's see what she comes back with the rise pitch, and now it's 2-2.
Well, I better be careful because, you know, sitting to my left is a man who's been thrown out of a lot of college games, and he might be bad luck for all of us. The umpire might point at all 4 of us. Out.
You know him? Go.
Go.
You're taking equipment with him? Go.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Off-speed pitch again. That's over the numbers.
Oh, man, I
and
thought
floated
Blue was
down
going
in
to call it.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Good eye by Madison.
And that was a good call by the ump. That was too high.
Yeah.
It looped on in there. Cypress has a little curve to their letterings on the jersey, and that ball came over that curve of the letterings. 3-2 payoff with 2 outs. Getting interesting here in Cypress. Fastball jammed her. Lewis over, out of play or in play. She makes the catch. And they call her out. Diamond Lewis, the All-American, saves that inning, and that's it for the bottom of the 6th inning. But 1 run is across on 1 hit, 3 left on base, and 1 error. And at the end of 6, it's 6-2 El Camino on SportsNetUSA.net.
The Chargers add 1 run in the
Well, you know, you talk about D1 players. We talk about community college players being up to the next level. And, Ed, you see that play by Diamond Lewis there. Doesn't give up on it. Knows it's going into maybe territory that's called out of play. And doesn't let it just drop. She lays out flat. And that's what right now has them up by 4 runs. I mean, this girl is a player over at third base for El Camino.
Yeah, and we saw her last year. We'll see where she gets to go. And that's one of the things that why we broadcast community college softball, because I think all of us feel that it really gets overlooked. There are some quality players here, and they really deserve a shot to play at not only the next level, but they need more consideration at the D2 and D1 levels. I mean, I talked to a coach last year, and we'll just not mention her so we don't get her in any trouble, but she told me flat out, she has, she had players, and she said, called up some D1 teams and said, hey, you're looking for a second base person, or third baseman, and they just said, well, if your player isn't with us all 4 years, we're not interested. I'm sorry, that is a bad attitude.
And see, that's where I take the Jerry Tarkanian approach to college coaching. Get you guys a community college player and build your programs. This one's popped up by Lewis. Caught by Sandoval. Lewis 0 for 4 today.
Keep going with that, Corey, because I don't think too many people know what Jerry did.
Yeah, Jerry Tarkanian, and another sport, but in basketball, he built UNLV and Long Beach using community college players for those 2-3 year formers, and he built himself into one of the greatest coaches in history in college basketball based on community college players. And I think more softball people should consider that. And that's how you build programs. That's how you build recognition. Like you said, Ed, at the Division II level especially. Division II softball, yeah, it might be bigger in the East Coast or South. But Division II softball can rival Division I. Maybe not in popularity, but in impact and entertainment value. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Joss Hernandez is up, and she skies one into center field for out number 2.
Well, it's just a question of maybe some more recognition, but a lot of these players, and I'm not saying every player can play at the D1 level here, or every player can play at the the D2 level, but there are many players who can, and they just get flat out overlooked.
Except, Ed, if you talk to a community college, everybody's D1.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Of a sense of not limitation, but where you can go in the sport of softball. And I think to somewhat in the sport of baseball as well. Kylie Perriman, who's 0 for 3. Misses low. 3 balls and no strike. And people on Cypress side don't like that call, but the umpire has been consistent all game long. That's a strike, let her high. Last pitch was over. This pitch was right down the middle and knee high.
Yeah, as long as the umpire is consistent, I mean, that's what you want. And if that's always a strike, you better swing.
And that's ball 4 to Perriman. She reaches first base for the first time.
But going back to your community college argument, Corey, I always thought community college players had a little bit of an advantage too, because they have a little bit more experience with the college level coursework. Sometimes you get a high school player and he's making that jump from high school classes to university classes with no experience in between. And definitely you can run into the grade problems because it's such a bigger adjustment, where the community college level, you have experience, at least with the undergrad classes, and you have that experience, and teams can trust you more and not becoming academically ineligible.
Well, to look at community college basketball, look at East Los Angeles this year. They're starting 5. What, 3 of the guys were bounce backs?
Yeah.
So, that does happen.
Amy Crawford pinch running for Perryman out of North Torrance High School, and there's a ball. 1 ball and no strike. And this is what you like about a quality umpire, that even though, and he's been calling the same balls and strikes all game long, overthrow by Sandoval on that one, 2-0. Not succumbing. And Mark, we've done enough softball games, enough baseball games, and enough whatever sports you do as umpires and officials to say, you know what, I'm gonna let the crowd influence me. on my next call, and he has not.
Well, and Corey, let's just go right back to it. If it's basketball and I foul everybody the same way and I get the call, even though we don't think it's a foul, he called it that way for everybody. If you're behind the plate as an umpire and you know your GPA is all set up, that's right, your general pelvic alignment, and you're somebody who looks over the top of a catcher, things that are low for you are not going to be in that sight line of a strike zone. Therefore, you don't call it. Doesn't mean you're not calling the right strikes, just means that's not your zone, and you won't call it for anybody the entire day.
2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
But I think
it's to El Camino.
But I think part of the responsibility as a catcher is to set that target a little higher and work with your pitcher.
And thrown out at second trying to steal is Amy Crawford. And that'll end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Almost 7 innings gone past, 6.5, and El lead over Cypress College.
So, no, you didn't go back to that statement. I know you're talking about the catcher trying to find out where it is, but let's realize that a pitcher's in the circle. She's thrown 32 games in the season already. She's won 12 of them. You don't get to look at a pitcher and say, oh, don't throw me what you're used to winning with. Because then I'm going to do what happened in this game. I'm going to come up in the strike zone because that's what you're telling me to do as a catcher. And guess what El Camino said? Thank you for the gift basket. I do like fruit, and I'm taking it to my neighbors over the left field wall.
And see, my argument wasn't you have to throw a little up. You have to find the sweet spots in the umpire zone. I played a little catcher in high school my freshman year, and that's one thing my coach always emphasized, get to know the umpire zone. Does he like it a little bit more outside? Do you have a little bit more leeway inside, a little bit more leeway high? If he's going to be a little tighter on the bottom half, he's going to be a little bit more leeway somewhere else. So you have to find that leeway as a catcher and call pitches accordingly. That doesn't mean necessarily leave it in the middle of the zone because he's not calling it low, but just find another sweet spot for the umpire that you and your pitcher can hit on pitches and strikes.
So offer that candy to him. 6-2. El Camino with the lead. 8 hits and 3 errors. Cypress, Eliza Sandoval, who came into the circle, in for Janaea Brannon. Steps in, started off in right field today, had an RBI single in the 5th, grounded to third in the 3rd inning. Last at last at bats, possibly for Cypress.
Man, I was looking for a sweet spot last night. I thought maybe I was getting cheesecake.
You know what? That tri-tip that you were supposed to get, I heard it was good, but other people got their dinner. And there's ball, it's 1-0. And the cheesecake that you were served, well,
Tres Leche El Camino?
I don't think it was cheesecake. You realize
Old lemon meringue pie with the meringue scraped off?
I think that pizza that they served, Mark, it might have been old lemon meringue pie. They just threw a pepperoni on it. 1 ball and strike. No outs. Bottom 7. Off-speed pitch and low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, the food I ate was about as good as Corey's headsets. Spotty.
If we had a spotted food, it would have been better. 6-2 is your score.
Means I would have gotten something.
Jocelyn Hernandez has her lifted into left field for the first out. Jocelyn Hernandez is looking for a complete game, guys. She's given up 5 hits.
And Noah, how much do you think that last inning by her getting out that jam is helping her in this 7th?
It's a huge confidence boost because especially when we mentioned it, she had the base open. She ended up walking that batter. She had the mound visit with her coach, and they went over something maybe strategical-wise, but she was able to get that last out. And now with a comfortable lead, too, I think that helps a lot. It's a 4-run lead she has in the last inning. Now you go out there, fresh, clean slate. You really have that confidence, almost like you were back in the beginning of the game.
Looking for her 9th complete game of the season. She's got a smile on her face as she delivers and rocks. This one's belted into right center field. That's going to be a gapper to the fence. And here comes Campos to second. She's going to stretch it out to third. And that's going to be a stand-up triple for Amanda Campos. And Cypress they're feeling it just a little bit with one out and a runner in scoring position. And yeah, we'll give her a triple even though there was a bobble in right center field.
I tell you what, Brad Pickler had her on the 42, transferred her to the 57, and she was going to go all the way home on that bus ride.
Yeah, for us old folks in the San Gabriel Valley, Ricky Tucker's daddy was definitely in service that time. 6-2 your score with one out. Infinity Laufo up to bat. She swings through a pitch, 0-1. So Campos standing at third. Laufo, one of the older players on the team. Hobbies including spending time with family. That's the 6th hit of the game for Cypress. Off-speed pitch off the mark.
Older? Is she closer to getting Social Security than I am?
No. She
I don't think she's that old.
No, well, considering other people.
Okay.
From the guest here today, she's older. Part of the 2012 team in Los Altos. That's all I meant. That's in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And you played your last high school game when?
That's ancient. We go from old to older to.
I can't hear that. I'm sorry, his headset's went out. Yeah,
my headset is Antuka 6-2 is your score. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at third base is Campos. Hernandez looking for a complete game. This bounce foul.
Noah, this is where I want to see how much courage she's got, and does she really believe in that change-up knuckle screw that she throws? I want to see her throw it right here and just freeze the hitter.
You buy dessert. I think she throws it here.
Well, you're already buying dinner, so I'm okay with that.
Okay, so if she throws it here, I get dessert.
That's got to be a strike.
2-2 on the way.
Oh.
And she lines it in the left field, Robinson. And bobbles it and allows Infinity to head to second base on an RBI single.
You want to thank the pitcher for making sure you don't gain any weight tonight? No dessert for you, my friend.
But see, this is where having that comfortable lead, that 4-run lead entering the inning is a little bit more cushion for the pitcher, a little bit more cushion for the coaching staff. You have a little bit of a longer leash with Hernandez because even a home run now, you still maintain this lead.
Yeah, but Brandon with 1 out squares the bunt, takes it for a strike. It's 6-3. Borges on deck almost hit it out her last time at bat. Brandon had a rough outing in the circle, so she's due. So we'll see if that aligns for Cypress. 8 hits to 7 hits, 4 errors for El Camino, 1 error for Cypress. And this is how Cypress won the game against Fullerton today.
Yeah.
They only had 3 hits. Fullerton out-hit them by 7, but still 3 errors by Fullerton. And Cypress wins the ball game 4-3. Brandon, the freshman out of Foothill, grounds 1 to Delatorre, fires over to first to Perriman, and that's out number 2. It does advance to runner to third.
Well, if you remember during the 2017 season when Brad Pickler and the Chargers had their perfect in conference, perfect, I mean, it was an undefeated season. The game that Brad went to the 300 mark, or not the 300 mark, how many wins?
1,300.
1,300 mark, I believe was against El Camino.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that they had Cypress down in the 7th, but all of a sudden the defense went kablooey, and Cypress tied it up, and then they won it in extra innings, and Brad got number 1,300.
And I kept thinking that was last year. Thank you, Ed, for...
Yeah, 2017.
Okay, thank you.
The perfect season.
Off-speed pitch is low.
Despite drinking the water straight out of Spring Valley Lake, I still have some of my mental capacity. Some.
That old tire water does Ed Ford
Oh,
good.
yeah.
1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs. Hernandez looking for a complete game win. If she gets it, that'll be win number 13 for her. Unless my stats are wrong, that'll be 13 wins to go with 1 loss. We shall see. Her earned run average is going to go up just a little bit from the 147. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner at third base is Infinity Laufo. Leslie Borges at bat takes that high, 3-1.
Did you just mention an ERA under 2? Under 1.5, as a matter of fact?
Under 1.5.
I tell you what,
And
go ahead.
that's what El Camino's been missing the last 5 years. One. That's in there for a strike, 3-2. So Jocelyn Hernandez looking for her 13th victory of the year. 6-3 is the score. It would be a huge win against Cypress, who, whenever you beat Cypress, it's a huge win. They only have 4 losses on the season. Off-speed pitch, belted into center field, and that is a straight. Making the catch is Mina Nakawaki, and that is going to do it. 6 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors for El Camino. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. And guys, closing thought.
Go ahead with the closing thoughts, and then we're going to give out a couple scores from around the Triple CAA in softball.
I think this is a big win for El Camino. I think this is one of those wins that's going to propel them confidence-wise when you move to the playoffs, because they're getting into the playoffs. I think this moves them into one of the favorites because they have that confidence and they have the circle going.
Well, I think Brad Pickler knows how to use the mental aspect of when Cypress loses a game and knows how to motivate them to say, hey, look, this is your competition in the playoffs. You lost them. You weren't even close. If you expect to go anyplace, you've got to play better. I think it's an okay loss for Cypress.
I think softball is a game of adjustments. I really liked how the lineup of El Camino, they made adjustments all the way through, and really their hitters took advantage in those middle innings when Brennan was struggling, and I really liked what they did at the plate and their overall presence there, and they're really aggressive, and it paid off for them.
Yeah, and El Camino has done well over the last couple of days. They beat Orange Coast just yesterday, and they beat Cypress today, and they beat College of the Canyons today. So they beat 3 teams that Cypress is the only, besides San Mateo is the only other 30-win team. Well, now San Jose is past that too, but coming into today's play. So it's a good win for El Camino, but as Mark and I were talking to Brad before the game, you got to lose sometime, because look at San Mateo. They've got a 26-game winning streak or something crazy like that. Well, yeah, but you don't know how to lose after you got that big. What if that streak keeps going and you wait till the state tournament to start your losing streak?
Exactly.
That's what happens a lot to these teams. And
that's what happens to San Mateo when they get to the playoffs. That's when they have their losing streak snapped.
Right.
Well,
so
it's
not.
Be
careful.
It's not if you lose. It's what do you do after you lose?
Right.
Because it's double elimination. So you lose. Can you come back and win? And if you win 26 in a row and you lose, do we know you're going to bounce back? Because you haven't been there. Mm-hmm. Cypress knows how to bounce back. El Camino knows how to play win or lose.
Now.
Battle-tested.
So, I mean, that's one of the things we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
as
I said, the top 5 teams, however you want to mix, well, I would still put Fullerton at 5.
Yeah.
But the top 4, you can put them all on a chit and pick out one. So pick your favorite one. It's Cypress, it's Mount Sac, it's Palomar, it's El Camino. Those are the top 4 teams in the South, undoubtedly. Fullerton is a solid number 5, and after that, the teams are weaker. You've got Antelope Valley, You're going to have to put Santiago in there, maybe at 8th. And I don't know who else you throw in there. Pasadena might be one of the teams that gets a regional home game. But those are the best teams. And up north, it's San Mateo. It's
San Joaquin Delta.
San Joaquin Delta.
And I think it's Sierra. Yeah.
And Monterey and San Jose. So there it's a little different. I think you have 5 really solid teams. And there's some other teams that are representative. I think Reedley's still a good team.